to each and everybody. Here are dignitaries and a great audience of our event that is of researcher India. Both are both Departments and Technology, Government of India, and coach of DASA India, which is an actions communicators registered with auspicious day when we are celebrating United Nations International Day of Education. And at this occasion, we got a tremendous support from National Council of Educational Research and Training NCERT, New Delhi, very special of Professor Anup appreciated our event or celebration as well as accession for keynote address on this occasion. We all know that education is a prime focus in India even after for a long since its ancient Indian, and during when we are going to preside the G20 events, then also education focus. Nalanda to NEP, education is the to make the India Sone ka Chiriya. And behind NEP, some very eminent personalities are there, and I thought one of them is none other than Professor Dr. Anup Rajput sir. Delivered today's keynote address. Due to technical virtual inauguration, which just highlighting a great personality. Anup Rajput sir have done a long thing, but we are highlighting him in a very short way, serving in being a head of publication division as well as related to the Department of Elementary Education. For a long time, he is serving as years associated with RI Bhopal also and other organizations, Himachal Pradesh, and with a good track, he completed step by step. He was complete special research specially papers, which has different lab participated in international and national platform of higher and conferences, higher different research paper also. blessed moment when we are going to be blessed with the words of wisdom from Professor Dr. Rajput sir. Sir, over to you, sir. Professor Dr. Rajput.
Thank you, Anjan Banik ji, and I welcome all the uh, persons and experts who are uh, present in this lecture, and I will be talking to you on some of the issues related to education. And as has been mentioned by Anjan ji, this is a very, very auspicious day when the UN International Day of Education is being celebrated. And as has been mentioned by Banik ji also, that this is the year in which India is hosting G20, and lot of activities are being conducted in that area also, including education. So for all of us, it is very, very important aspect that education is in the limelight for everyone, not only in India but throughout the world. And uh, this year, these last 3 4 years, we have developed our new education policy. This was developed in 2020, and then on the basis of which this year only means in 2022, national curriculum framework for foundational stage has been issued, has been released, and the other national curriculum frameworks. One is for school education, which will be for preparatory, middle, and secondary stage. Then another will be on teacher education, and third one will be on ECC, and fourth will be on adult education. So these four other national curriculum frameworks are in the process of formation, and you will very soon find these will be released by government of India, on the basis of which we will be able to design our whole education system, including the teaching learning processes, including the material which is being provided to children and to teachers and to parents. So many things will take place after the national curriculum framework comes in picture. But we have now started working on the national curriculum framework at foundational stage, and I hope all of you know that national education policy has mentioned about four stages of education. One is from the age 3 years to age 7 or 8 years, which is called foundational stage, which includes 3 years of preschool and 2 years of primary school, which is class 1 and class 2. Then grade 3 to grade 5 is taken up in preparatory stage, grade 6, 7, and 8 are in middle stage, and grade 9 to 12 are in secondary stage. So these are the stages on which we have started working, and as I had mentioned, the national curriculum framework for foundational stage is already released by government of India, and you will soon find the books on this and other material on the basis of this national curriculum framework. I will be talking to you on some of these issues which are already there, and which have been highlighted in national education policy. The major idea in education policy which has been given there is on changing the whole outcome of education. The whole outcome of education is now focusing on the competency based education. We want our learner to be more competent, and I will be explaining what do we mean by competencies. But that certainly is a very, very big issue, because in our whole system we are awarding degrees and certificates to children, but we are not making them competent. No doubt earlier policies and national curriculum frameworks had mentioned it in detail, but but we have not achieved this goal. Maybe there may be many reasons for that, but now government of India has decided to give a focus to this, and to obviously take it in a more rigorous manner, so that all children who will say may pass out after few years of their education, of their schooling, they should be more capable of applying what has already been learned in schools. This should not be only confined to getting pass marks or getting good marks in examination. Right now, our whole system is converging to examination only and to the degrees and certificates. Pupil may students and teachers are concerned with getting good marks in examination, and that is not their fault because this is the whole system which is working towards examination only. So we have to work more towards competencies. We have to make our learners more competent so that they should be in a better position to contribute to the growth of the country. And that can be achieved if our whole system, education system is converging to the major skills which are required. Some of these skills were already identified in the last decade of 20th century, that was during 1991 to 92 to 2000. These skills are called 21st century skills, and it was identified during those days that we should focus more on 21st century skills because children who will become citizens for any country or for this globe, they certainly should be capable of having all those skills which are required. I'll be giving you some account of those skills also. uh, these have already also been identified on the basis of international surveys. I'll give you some idea about those all international surveys also. Some of the surveys probably you may also know, which is being conducted. Number one is the program of international student assessment, which is conducted for some of the countries, and this is a good survey for children of age 15 years or above, and there in the countries are being ranked on the basis of their performance. And India has not participated. Only once India has participated in 2012, and during those days the performance was not very good. After that, we stopped participating with the notion that we should get prepare our children in a rigorous manner, only then we should participate, and that was a good decision. But even then, after 2012, we have entered to 2022. 8 years have gone, 10 years have gone, but we are not still prepared because what we found is that the foundation of children in our country is weak. That is why this National Education Policy 2020 has given a major focus and emphasis on having a strong foundation of children up to class 2. If children are having this strong foundation, the education after this will not be a bigger problem. And this many research have already proved it, nationally, internationally also, that if for these 5 6 years of child's early learning are being focused on development of their foundation, a strong foundation on language, literacy, numeracy, and other aspects of child's development, then only child will be comfortable in taking the education ahead. So therefore, it is the focus is given in National Education Policy 2020. I'll be giving an account, and let me just make a presentation. Uh, I have to see whether this presentation is available here or not. Currently, suppose to the slide. So let me just find it out where the. Just bear with me. I am trying to find out my presentation, and immediately after that, I will. Is it visible now, my presentation? Okay, it is in the process. So you will get it. But in the meantime, let me just make it clear to you that I will be talking to you for next 30-40 minutes, and after that, you will certainly have some chance to maybe putting up your queries, questions, and your expectations from me. So that certainly I will be giving a chance for 10-15 minutes to talk to you also. As I mentioned, the objectives of whole education have been derived in the form of learning outcomes, and these you probably may be knowing. The whole act of education is depending on the learning outcomes. So these learning outcomes have been fixed as the uh, goals of education. We already have these, but earlier we were not fixing these goals in the form they should be assessed. So now we have fixed. So there are two types of learning outcomes. One are the uh, process outcomes, which normally are there, which can be achieved during the process, and then there are some outcomes which are the end products of teaching learning process. So these outcomes, obviously, you will find uh, that these you may have in your own processes. Government of India has decided, after Right to Education Act has come up in 2009, it was mandated that we should define learning outcomes, and our whole education should be focusing on learning outcomes, these outcomes which are expected, so that there should be some tangible uh, outcomes of learning which we should be able to assess. So, keeping in view the mandate of Right to Education Act, in 2017, NCRT has prepared learning outcomes. These learning, why I am mentioning about these learning outcomes, because when this national education policy has been framed, these have been considered, these have been taken into consideration. Then there comes the competencies. Now, what these competencies are, as there are these competencies are global competencies. Let me just explain. The competencies are combinations of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values. Knowledge, normally we are giving in our whole process, whatever we are teaching to our learner, this is called knowledge. And normally children read this, listen this, and reproduce in examination. So our whole system was concentrating only on knowledge. One of the examples is, I know, my basic discipline is mathematics, so I have more examples from mathematics. So I know lot of processes are there in order to solve problems given in the textbook. For example, one of the problem may be on percentage. So if I am asked that what is this much percentage of this amount, I can easily find it out. But now in my daily life, if someone has asked me, or if I have to take a decision on the basis of my knowledge, and that decision normally is, say for example, if I am going to a shop and shopkeeper is giving me an offer that buy one get one free, or you are given 40% discount, so which should I focus on? Should I go in the shop which is giving me buy one get one free, or should I go to the shop which is giving me 40% discount? This decision I have to take, and I have to make some calculations for this. Then only I will be able to find out, or otherwise, on the basis of my knowledge, I should be able to do. But how many of us are doing this? We do not. So we have knowledge, but we do not have skill of using this knowledge. So skills are required. So our whole education process is lacking skills. So therefore, national education policy has mentioned it very clearly that in addition to knowledge, we should talk about skills. Then attitudes. What will I do if I have skills, I have knowledge, but I don't have that attitude of applying those skills, understanding those skills, having important place, giving important place in my life? So attitude is very important. What is my attitude towards that particular thing? I have the knowledge, I have skills, and I am now a trained technical person, an engineer, but my attitude is not towards engineering. One of the examples is uh, I have say people who have done IIT, means graduation from IITs, BTech from IIT, then MBA or management course from IIM. But even then, where are they serving? In banks, where neither the technical skills nor the management skills are being used. They are writing books, they are writing novels after doing BTech from IIT and management course from IIM. But even then, they are writing books because their attitude was not towards this engineering skills. We, no doubt, the child may have done this. So attitude is very important, which is required to be there. And then values, whatever values we are assigning to them. So this is important. So this combination of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values becomes competencies. And what are those competencies? If we see global competencies, that certainly will percolate to India also, because we are citizen of India, but after all, we are citizen of this globe also. So we have to think globally. So examine local, global, and intercultural issues. So my local issues I have to examine. By examining, I am only examining on the basis of my knowledge and my skills and my attitude. These intercultural issues, which includes religion, which includes caste, which includes languages, which includes many other things. So I have to examine, and then I have to take decisions, I have to give value to this. Then there are understand and appreciate the perspective and world view of others. It's not only my viewpoint which is important, the viewpoint of others. I have to understand that. And after appreciation, I have to find out how far this is applicable to my life or to the life of my society or to my country or to my globe. Then engage in open, appropriate, and effective interactions across cultures. So when interaction between one culture to other culture, we have stopped talking to each other. We have stopped having this interaction. So this effective interaction is very, very important. And it should be open without any prejudices. We should be engaged in these interactions across cultures. Then take action for collaborative well-being and sustainable development. Very, very important. My development should be sustainable. Whatever we are doing, that should be sustainable. And for sustainability, we have to take very, very important decisions. And for that, we have to examine all these. I will give you one example. Say, uh, there I know that one time use plastic is dangerous to our environment. So, what should we do? We should discard uses of all those plastic items which are used for one time only. Major of these is, say for example, the disposable plates, spoons, glasses which we are using. But in place of this, if I want to use disposable, then what I do? I have discarded plastic, but now I started using paper. But paper is again, consumption of more paper is creating other hazardous issues or hazards to our environment, because these are being made by of using wood or wood pulp. Wood or wood pulp will come from forests. I have to cut more trees. So I am again in place of, in at one end where I am saving my environment, my earth, from usage of plastic, but I am doing damage to my whole society, whole environment, by cutting more trees, by destroying more forests. So what should I do then? So this balance is required to be learned. I should be skillful in having this balance. What is to be used where and why? What should I do? Is it not important now that if I am going somewhere, I should keep a plate, a small plate, a steel plate, or a bone china plate in my bag, and wherever I am eating something, I should eat in my own plate instead of using any paper or plastic product. The good idea may be not so practical. Many of us may not find it very good idea, because say, taking our own utensils whenever we are going out is not a good idea, but we have to do it. So ultimately, this decision, who will decide, or who will give me this knowledge, what decision I should take? Where should I use paper? Where should I use plastic? Where should I use my own utensils? Where should I discard all these things? Who should take decision, or who should teach me? Our whole education system should do it. So this is very very important aspect, that we should somewhere be focusing on the global competencies, rather the knowledge, skills, attitudes and values. And National Education Policy 2020 has given a emphasis on this. As I was mentioning, in PISA 2030, for PISA 2030 and character and creative standards which have been framed globally, are talking about these competencies. As I mentioned, knowledge is divided into three parts. One is disciplinary knowledge, interdisciplinary knowledge, and practical knowledge. So disciplinary knowledge we in different discipline. This is science, this is mathematics, this is physics, this is chemistry, this is language, this is social science, this is history, this is political science. These all we study. But where do we correlate them and have interdisciplinary knowledge? How science is related with social science, how social science is related with mathematics, how mathematics is useful to all these, how languages are required for all these, learning of language. So this all means interdisciplinary knowledge is required. NEP has very clearly mentioned that we should be somewhere removing the hard boundaries between different disciplines. When a child is studying mathematics, it should be directly linked with science, should be directly linked with language, linked with social science, and so on. There should not be very hard boundaries between these disciplines. This has been mentioned in National Education Policy very clearly. Then practical knowledge, whatever we are studying, whatever knowledge we are having, that should be used in our daily life. So by usage we should have. So that is why more experiential learning should be there. This has been mentioned in National Education Policy, that our whole focus of education, rather the pedagogy which should be focused there, is should be on toy based pedagogy, should be on experiential learning, because we should learn while we are doing something. Then there are skills. Skills have also been divided into three parts. One are cognitive and metacognitive skills. So whatever thinking you require, everything comes under that, cognitive and metacognitive skills. Then social and emotional skills, very important. These, you will find that these will not come only from one discipline. These will come, cognitive and metacognitive will come from many disciplines. When you are doing mathematics, and when we are, say for example, involved in, say, doing different operations with different strategies, obviously I am using my cognitive skills. Then metacognitive skills, then social and emotional skills, how competent I am in dealing with the different situations, maybe the adverse situations in my life. Then physical and practical skills, important, very important aspect. So my education system should be focusing on knowledge Three types of knowledge: disciplinary, interdisciplinary, and practical. Skills: cognitive, metacognitive, social and emotional, physical and practical. Then attitudes and values. I have already explained to you what do we mean by attitudes and values. These all are combined together and are called competencies. And competencies are to be then converted to action, because having many knowledge, many skill, attitudes and values have no usage until we are converting them into action, because action will bring the change in the system. Not only the competencies. I am competent of doing something, but if I am not doing it, then it has no value, neither to me nor to my society. Then there are some standards which have been mentioned here. These the purpose of these standards are motivation, vision, ownership, then character, uh, integrity, respect, resilience, consciousness. Very very important characters are there. Then creativity. You probably may be finding this all is there in 21st century skills: innovations, problem solving, critical thinking. We whatever the because this whole society, whole world, our environment is changing every time. When it is changing every time, our problems are changing. When our problems are changing, our solutions should also change. The solution which were available or which I know may not be applicable now, so I have to innovate a new way of solving a problem. And this can only come when I am critical in my thinking. I am not accepting everything only because it is written in some book, because it is being told to me by an elder. I have to examine by my education system should empower me to examine whatever I read, whatever I see, whatever I listen. So I have to examine my own, and then to critically take into account what decision should I take. These days this is happening. I make my opinion on the basis of some WhatsApp video being given by to me by someone, without thinking whether this is right or wrong. One who has sent it, why this person is sending it to me or to us? Should it be better for my own society, for me or not? I have to, my education system should be able to providing me all those education and skills through which I should be becoming critical. Then communication, collaboration, and connectedness. Very important. Collaboration is another very, very important relationship which we should have, because these days life is not only working alone. Life is, or the solutions of the problems of the system will come while when we are working in groups, when everyone is thinking in the same direction, maybe from different angles. One of the examples of this, you probably may have found that in most of the cases now, since last 10 20 years, the Nobel Prizes are being given to not a single scientist or a social scientist or an economist, but to a group of people. Because these, say for example, in medicine, someone may have developed in the same direction, may have developed some medicine, may have developed some procedures for surgery, may have developed some ideas for new type of diseases and so on, but all of them have worked in same direction. So that's why the collaboration is very very important, and we should learn to collaborate, we should learn to communicate and connect with each other. Then learning is competence, as has been mentioned, and reflections. Whatever my competencies are there, on that I should be having reflections, and that will empower me with my own character and creativity. And that is required in our whole society. This is the focus of National Education Policy 2020. Learning outcomes, as I have mentioned, I have not be taking more time in this. process outcomes and the content outcomes. This process outcomes describe to achieve the skills through examples, and content outcomes are which are for the 21st century skills. So development and assessment of competencies that include 21st century skills comes under content outcomes, and the process outcomes are on the achievement of skills, because skills are in the process which are they change every time. Whenever you apply a skill, you brush it up, and you change it. Today I know something, tomorrow I may know differently, or I may be more skillful tomorrow when I am using it. So process is making you more skillful every day. Then the learning resources which are available with us, this national educational policy has very clearly mentioned. As I was telling you, that experiential learning is a very important aspect. So whatever experiences we have, those are to be used. So therefore now my education is totally contextual, and that is the easier way to learn whatever context I have. If I am from a family which is involved in some traditional craft, for example, weaving of banarsi sari, my family is involved in that. I have all those skills which are required, or otherwise I can learn it from my family. So while I am taught mathematics, my all example, if my examples are moving around my own context, weaving of sarees, how long thread I should take, how many, what time it should take, how many rupees we earn. There are many such things which are involved. So mathematics, language is being learned through this. So my more examples at early stage should be more experiential to children. They should be engaged in experimenting everything so that they get their own experiences, instead of only giving them some content which they have to cram and reproduce. So very clear it is that now we should somewhere stop focusing on the same procedures which are there. We should empower our children to derive their own strategies to solve problems, instead of giving only limited ways of solving a problem. They should come up with their own ways of solving problems. Then interest. So my learning resources should focus more on the stories, poems, riddles, which are around a child, because children enjoy stories. Gone are the days when people were saying that after coming up of mobile phones, children have stopped listening to stories. They still are very much interested. If you narrate them stories, they certainly will be. No doubt, these mobile phones have given them more exposure. Uh, I have my own example. When I was a child, I belonged to Himachal Pradesh, and there were no trains. So when I was a child, I only visited. I was in class 10, or I think in class 9, when I went to Chandigarh for NCC camp. There only I saw a train. The train was so long, so I was amazed by seeing. I was having experience of seeing only buses, but I have seen so many buses that are tied together and they are moving. So this was a very different experience for me. But these days, if a child has not seen a real train, but may have seen train moving in a video, maybe on a television, or maybe on mobile phone, or maybe on at other platforms. So now, no doubt, the learning resources are increasing, but how these are to be used, how the interest is to be sustained, that is important. Then digital. Digital means, as I mentioned, that now majority of children have access to digital technology, the technology through which digital content can be accessed, maybe audios, videos, multimedia content. worksheets and so on. So we should give more focus on this, but in such a manner so that there should not be a bigger digital divide. By a bigger digital divide means that children who do not have facility of digital content accessibility, they should not be deprived of many learnings. For them, teacher has to work differently and to give more ideas through manipulatives, through their art and sports integration. So lot of work is to be done now. Learning resources should include kits, toys, handhelds, laboratories, and then the art and sports integration. Very important because children love engaging themselves in art. Different forms, art forms, maybe visual, maybe performing, maybe any other way of art, cultural. Then sports, because this is very essential. We have to think about the overall personality development of a child, and for which physical development along with cognitive physical development is also very important. Emotional development is equally important. And these all will come when child is engaged in learning through different resources. Print, it is, its importance is as ever, means print is always important. I have seen children, means students, and some young generation, young persons have started reading books. Children still enjoy comics. Children still enjoy workbooks. So these should be board games, very important. So a lot of print material is required, keeping in view the focus of whole education, as I mentioned. Assessment. So assessment should be more on assessing all these domains which I mentioned. Competencies, huh? Not only knowledge but assessing skills. It is certainly not very easy. You may be finding there are not very good tools to assess skills, but we have to. And this can be done by engaging children in skills, a lot of skills. Whatever is being learnt, whatever knowledge is being taken by a child, it should be able to apply in skills. Then attitudes, we should be able to assess attitudes of the children and values also. So how a child is progressing, is becoming competent, is to be assessed. And this can be done with the child centered assessment. Means assessment should not be of a group. Assessment is generally and every time it is of individual child. No doubt it is for the teacher. It has very less to do with the children. Because if I am assessing a child has not learnt as much as he or she should be. Means neither knowledge nor skills nor attitudes nor values, what were fixed through learning outcomes, child has not learnt that. Then child has nothing to do or very less to do in that. Most of the work is to be done by the teacher. So therefore, it is essential. Most of the assessment is for teachers, not for children. Very less is to be done by children. I have to engage children in different ways. Maybe if I am engaging a child has not learned, then I have to make an heterogeneous group of children sitting in my school, sitting in my class, wherein, say, I'm making a group of four children, two children are at slightly higher level of learning, one children is at appropriate level of learning, and one child is at lower level of learning, lowest level of learning, who has not learnt appropriately. But these four children talking to each other, and when assignments are being given to them, they will learn from each other, and that is important. So it is not only the teacher. Teacher has to only provide opportunities to learn. Teacher is not always the custodian of knowledge in the class. Teacher is only a facilitator, and that is to be understood by a teacher. So while assessing continuously a child, it is important that teacher should assess in such a manner that he or she should be able to help the child in achieving those learning outcomes which are assumed at that particular class, in that particular subject, and so on. Then school based assessment is more reliable. Third party assessment is not much reliable. Simple example is I have in Delhi, children are getting 90%, 95% in CBSE examination. Now, because in Delhi University, children are being, in other universities also, children are being admitted on the basis of combined university entrance test, CUET. But earlier it was on the basis of the marks obtained in class 12. And in class 12, in some of the colleges, the cutoff was going to 100% to 99%. And even I have many friends working in IIT, and they always have a complaint that children who are coming to IITs are weak in fundamentals, whereas to IITs we are sending the cream of the country. But even then, IIT teachers are not very happy. So what is happening? Because they have got good marks, but they are not capable. So that is why school based assessment is more useful, because a teacher only knows how capable my child is. This cannot be done by one time examination, because one time examination may be done at in any class is totally subjective. The mental status the child is having that time when he or she was assessed is more important. Child may know many things, but when he was assessed, his mental status was not good. The day before, he was not well. He was having fever. But when he came to the school next day, the test was being conducted. Child has not performed well. So what should I get? I should not say that child is not capable of doing it. Child may be capable of doing, but child may not have in that mental status he or she was. Then cooperative learning and peer assessment. Very important, as I mentioned, cooperative learning, I have given you many examples. Then use of technological tools for assessment are very important, because those can be adaptive. Adaptive assessment means which can be according to child's learning style, child's learning levels, and so on. So adaptive assessment is very important. Multidisciplinary assessment, very important aspect. As I mentioned in National Education Policy 2020, it has been very clearly mentioned that we should talk about interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary education. When it is there, the my assessment should also be focusing on this. And there are some international surveys. I mentioned one, PISA, then TIMSS is there, TIMSS, Trends in International Mathematics and Science Studies. Then PULSE, Program of International Reading and Learning. Then there are maybe some other assessments. So we should somewhere be focusing on all sorts of assessments, and not only on the cognitive assessment, which we can do through written pen paper test, but other ways of assessment should also be evolved, explored, and used. Then these are the assessment of competencies which we can use. How competencies are to be assessed? Assessing the process continuously through rubrics. I will request you all, please go through what rubrics are. I will not be able to explain it here because due to lack of time. But then portfolios, physicals and e-portfolios, which is containing the whole work which child has done, which will give me an idea, not only with one time test or one uh, way of assessing a child, but there may be many ways child has done different activities, and I have maintained this in a portfolio, and then I can assess how far child has learned, how child is learning, whether it is learning is appropriate or not. Assessment to be integrated with teaching and not to be done separately. So, in my opinion, continuous assessment is more important than one-time examination. When it is done by an external agency. Then adaptive assessment, as I mentioned, assessing each child individually on the basis of his or her ability, which he or she can display. Some child may be very good in orally describing his or her own learning. Some child is good in describing it through pictures. Some may be good in describing it through written words. and so on. No doubt we have to enhance their ways of representing everything, but if a child is comfortable in one of the ways, then we should use that more for that child instead of forcing the child to write down. If child's write written competencies are not very good, but child knows many things, then I should evolve some other ways of assessing the child. Assessing criticality and creativity, very important. These are called higher levels of learning, and critical thinking, creativity, problem solving are to be assessed, and these can be assessed by focusing more on whys rather than on what and how. So we should put more questions to the child on why it is like this, because what and how are factual. What and how's answer are available somewhere, whereas why's answer are to be derived by the child. There may be for every child a different answer for a why. Hmm? Why the night is there? Why do we have night after day? Why? Child has started thinking. Someone may give idea that sun is not there or earth is revolving and this and that, but child should focus on whatever is being learned, correlate everything, and then should be able to tell why. There are many such things for which you should ask children. So more focus should be on why rather than what and how. Assess child's thinking process on not only the repeating something seen, heard, or read. Whatever is already seen. So my examination should not be on the questions which are given in a book whose answers are available somewhere. I should ask more subjective questions. If you are in that position, what will you do? If you would have been given this task, how will you do it? So every child may have a different answer in that case and will not be then confined to an answer given in a book. Then these are some of the goals which are given here, and goal one is on this. Then international surveys, as I mentioned, this is PISA, 15-year-old child. I am not going to give details of this. Then types of question, these have been given here, and you have to see this question. These questions you will find during these days of internet. You can somewhere as I have been written here. So maybe PISA question, PISA, and questions if you type, there will be sites which will give you such type of problems. And then questions being asked, these are some of the questions which have been mentioned here. International survey, another international survey is TIMS. Then these are some other questions. Then Pearl's program in international reading literacy study. This is another survey, and this is for young learners of preschool. Teams is a survey for students of class 4 and class 8. And then there is another survey which is for teachers. It's called TEDS, Teacher Education Development Study. So this is being done for these pupil teachers of teacher education institutes. These are international surveys. So you find questions, what about questions are being asked, and then try to find out your own answers. Being teacher, you will be getting good resource of such material. Then these are some of the sample questions. Then how the scoring is being done, and then another international survey which is called ORF, Oral Reading Fluency. So how this is assessed, you may go through it. Then textual material, some of the processes of writing a textual material is being given here, and you can find out. I will send you my presentation. You can read it, and you can then may drive your own learning. Then there is more focus on holistic progress card and 360 evaluation, 360-degree evaluation. By 360-degree evaluation, it is very clear that we want to assess all aspects of a child's development, growth. These may be physical aspects, emotional aspects, cognitive aspects, and so on. So I should be able to assess all these aspects of a child, and that is why it is called 360-degree evaluation. You'll find Government of India has given lot of such material which you can use. There are some tools also which can be used. Then these are some of the assessment tools which I have mentioned and types of questions uh, through which goals of NEP 2020 can be assessed. Thank you very much. This was what I wanted to tell you. I have many more things which we can discuss, but right now, because I am been given 1 hour, so that's all from my side. Now it is your turn. You can ask something, you can add something, you can supplement to my talk. So thank you very much, Anjan Banik ji, for providing me this opportunity.
No,
Yes,
sir,
please.
it's not me, but you, sir. We are blessed with your. I think it will at auspicious knowledge, attitude, and value. If room level, I think we can achieve the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda of man making education also. Thank you very much, sir. Hats up to your lecture. Hats up to your presence also, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to request you be with us for a few moments, 10 or 15 minutes. Please spare this time with us. Organization on this day, we are felicitating some peoples also, some teachers, 4 or 5 teachers. Just congratulate them. They will share their experience. Moment, sir, we are grateful to another person. He is also with us, most renowned scientist of India who served his career hero, Dr. Prabhakar Sharma, sir. Sir, please be at PR first ever first mother institute of ISRO, and also worked with Dr. Kalam sir, Vikram Sarabhai. So we'll take his words of wisdom also. But in presence of both of you from NCRT, head of Anjan Rajput sir and Prabhakar Sharma sir, I would like to three or four teachers they in this one by one we are starting, and then we'll listen the advice of most renowned personality, Dr. Prabhakar Sharma sir. First of all, Professor Dr. Sunena ma'am. Ma'am, are you here? Professor Dr. Sunena ma'am.
Namaste, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I am
Ma'am,
from
on this
Mumbai.
August occasion, UN, in the United Nations, yes, United Nations International Day of Education, we are going to felicitate you with our NCRTS, that is our India, affiliated to Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, with the National Teacher Award 2023. I would like to first I would like to ma'am to give your introduction and your share your experience, and then I would like to invite our Prabhakar sir and Anup sir to congratulate ma'am. Ma'am.
Namaste. Good evening. Am
Good
I
evening.
audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. I am Professor Dr.
Yes,
Sunaina
yes,
Kadle.
yes, yes.
I am the principal of a B.Ed college, teacher education. I am teaching the students, the training teachers for mathematics and science. I'm associated with a number of mathematics and science organizations. I train students for taking participating in Umi Baba science programs, competitions. I have done a lot of research in science and mathematics. I've published papers, and I'm always associated with propagation of maths. I do a lot of social work in which I'm associated with the poor children, street children, where we try and train them in mathematics and science education and computer education. So, with my small little efforts, I try to bring about some change in the society, and my main focus is to see that we have very good science and maths teachers, because development in science and maths is the development of a country and nation. So that is my goal, that we train and create very good maths and science teachers for our society, so that our country goes ahead with it. I think I don't want to talk much about myself. Namaste, and it was wonderful, Anup sir, to hear you. This NEP is also a real big change. What is going to happen in the education system? And I'm really very happy that these changes have come as a teacher educator and a principal of a college. So, whatever points you made about assessment, about global competence, and all, really, they were really a good learning experience for all of us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In
Okay,
presence of
Dr. Sunana, it is very nice. You are doing a good job
Anup,
because,
scientist, Dr. Sharma sir, we are
yeah, Banik Saab, you are saying something?
yes sir. I am.
I think there is some technical issue.
I think Manik sir's network is very, very weak. But anyways, I
Sir,
congratulate
please
Dr.
come.
Sunayana Kadle. You are doing a very, very wonderful job, and certainly our teachers are the backbone of the society, who certainly have to build up this in such a manner so that we should become a global power, and in India we should have more scientific innovations. And for that you are doing a good job. You are a teacher educator, and developing teachers is very good. And being you are, because you have been associated with Homi Baba Center for Science Education, that certainly is very, very good. I have my personal association with TIFR and then HBCSC and other organizations. So I once again congratulate you. Please keep on doing this good work and motivate others teachers also to do this type of job, so that they should ultimately bring up good students and good citizens for our country. Over
Sure,
to
sir.
Prabhakar sir.
Namaste, everyone. Professor Sunaina, I am very happy to see you doing good
Please
work
congratulate, ma'am.
and getting in. And I heartily congratulate you for your efforts. I think it's something which we are lacking, and people like you are very rare. And it's such a pleasure to see you here and listen to what you are doing. I wish you many more years of very creative thing, and you do good work. Continue to do good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we are inviting.
Thank-
Next, we are inviting Jaya Chaudhary, ma'am. Jaya Chaudhary, ma'am, are you here? I think there is some issues. Shilpa, Shilpa, ma'am. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm
Please
here, sir.
unmute
Hello,
yourself.
everyone. Yeah, I am muted. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Please
Am I
introduce
audible?
yourself and say something, share your experience. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
Yes.
First of all, thanks a lot, sir, for your support, and it is a great honor to work in teaching field. Myself, Shilpa Parab, working in Vidyanidhi Junior College of Science as a physics faculty. And I always involve my students for science projects, and because of that they come up with different ideas also, which we even don't know in this day to day life. And I host every year science day in my college, so students comes with their small tricks, and because of that in them the scientific attitude inculcated.
Prabhakar sir,
Yes.
say something to Shilpa madam.
Shilpaji, you are, I don't know much about your work, but the way you are approached to, interacting with your students and motivating them is
Yeah,
really wonderful.
yeah.
And
Thank
being
you,
in a
thank you.
college, it's now the culture is changing actually. The
Yes.
interaction between students and teachers is increasing, and
Mm.
people like you are doing this kind of work, which is very commendable. So I congratulate you for your efforts, and please continue to do such work. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations, Shilpa madam, and I will like to certainly give one example. In our whole system, we used to conduct surveys with children. One question we asked to children of class 7 or class 8, that in winter we wear woolen clothes. Why do we
Mm.
wear woolen clothes in winter?
Mm.
So three options were given to the children. One of the options was because they generate heat. That's why we wear woolen clothes. The second option was they behave like a barrier between us and the atmosphere outside. That's why the woolen clothes save us from the cold weather. And third option was none of these two. And most of the children answered, they chose for option number one, means they generate heat. So I was worried where the problem is. Is it this problem with our textbook? Is the problem with our teaching? Is the problem whatever children are learning being not applied in their daily life? So that certainly was a very bigger question. And when I started interacting with those children, then the children who have given they behave like a barrier between us and the atmosphere outside. I asked them why woolen cloth? Why not a cotton cloth can also work? That will also behave like a barrier between us and the atmosphere outside. So those children were not able to answer even. Whereas they probably may have learnt and crammed that air is a bad conductor of heat, and
Yeah.
because air is there, that's why this saves us from the dissipation of heat from my body to the outside. So I only wanted to tell that my whole education system should bring in such type of daily life questions, daily life explorations in my teaching learning processes, rather than focusing mostly on the textbooks and examining whatever is written there. We used to teach the history of science, not the science, to our children. History of science means that Newtons have derived Newton's
Yeah.
laws of motion by this. This is
Yeah.
history.
This
I
is
am not somewhere encouraging my child to write down to become Newton or to think like Newton. So that somewhere is lacking, but you are doing very good job, and congratulations to you for your these achievements, and you have achieved it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite Mrunal ma'am. I would like to invite Mrunal ma'am. Ma'am, are you here?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Good evening,
Ma'am, please
everyone.
introduce yourself and share your experience.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Yes, sir. So myself, Mrunal Lugde, and I have completed my master's in chemistry, and I also have completed my B.Ed. Currently, I am working as a science and maths teacher for the secondary grade, like from 5th to the 10th standard. I'm teaching them science and maths. So actually, I'm guiding them in a science. Like there are the zonal level exhibitions, so I'm also guiding students in that zonal level exhibition. And in school also, we are conducting the activities where they can, as Sir Anup sir, you have said the plastic. It is a main problem now. How we can use that plastic? So like we can make something out of that waste material. So we are. Carrying out such programs where students are learning to make things from the west, and they are creating some best things out of that. So that program also we are carrying out. And for learning the mathematics, we are carrying out a day-to-day activities where they can learn by doing something, and they can learn by creating some riddles and games. So we are conducting that in a school, so they will be able to grasp the concept clearly. Yes,
Congratulations,
so
Mrunalji.
that's all about myself.
Very good. Congratulations, Mrunalji. You are doing a very good job. And
Thank you, sir.
uh, children learn by doing. Engage them in more such experiences. And in my
Yes,
lecture, I mentioned that there should be more experiential learning. Congratulations
yeah,
once again. I don't know what are you going to get with this award. Will there be a trophy or certificates or whatsoever it is? So once again, my congratulations to you. Keep doing this
yes.
good work and motivate
Thank you,
others.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Mrinal madam, congratulations. You are doing
Thank you, sir.
a wonderful work. You see, because the concept of best from waste is something very important. We are just using, single use and throw things. So if you can
Yeah,
motivate your children, I know one of my friends. He's running an industry to make things out of waste, and he's earning millions of dollars actually. So you see, if children know this, it will save our environment, and also they can, get a work. They can make a career in this kind of a thing. Most of us don't realize that there are careers which are very different kind of things. So this is something,
yes,
if you
yes,
can sort of motivate your students to do things, and
yes, sir,
it
surely.
will also improve your
Yeah,
environment. So that is a very good kind of a thought you have given to this whole thing, and I heartily congratulate you for your effort.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse
Thank
me,
you.
sir. So sorry when you called because of the some technical issues, I could not
Another
respond.
in awardee. Yeah, no
Can I
sorry.
say that?
No sorry required. It's happened. Joya,
Yeah.
ma'am, use yourself and share your experience with sir.
Yes. I have done MSc from the organic chemistry, and I have done B.Ed also. And after I have done the another post graduation, that is MA in education. I cleared the SET NET JRF, and right now I am doing the PhD. And as far as science and math subjects are concerned, regularly every year we used to conduct the science experiment, and into that science exhibition we used to means we try to participate the commerce and art students also in the junior college, because up till 10th standard they were having the background of the science, and whenever they choose the stream of the commerce and arts, they feel that we are not having any kind of touch into the science. So that's why I means every time every year I used to make the attempt so that all the three stream students should participate into the science exhibition. And as sir was saying so much about that plastic reuse, we used to conduct the competition that is best out of waste, and into that we used to focus on the recycling of the polythene, that is plastic, how we can reuse it. So it is beneficial from the environmental protection point of view also. And for the maths also, so many students have find out that they are struggling for the maths. So we try to introduce the new methods, with the help of which methods students can solve the difficulty into the mathematics. So such kind of efforts we took for the science and math students. Thank you so much.
Prabhakar sir, congratulate
Very
her.
good. I am actually impressed because science is not only for science students but for all
Yes.
types of students.
Hmm.
One of my friends is a commerce graduate, but he is teaching science. He is conducting experiments on science. Unfortunately, he didn't pursue science in his career, but I was very impressed with him, and the kind of explanation and the models he is making are remarkable. So actually, science will grow only when people from all walks of life get into it. You know, for example, Jagdish Chandra Bose was a
Huh.
physicist, but he delved into botany and so many other disciplines, which were not his. Many doctors around the world
Hmm.
discovered things in physics. So, science grows only like that, when people from other disciplines also participate in doing
Yes.
science, then science actually grows. So it's a wonderful effort, and I really congratulate you for your thought and, for the kind of work you are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank, thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Jaya ji, and
Thank you so much,
you
sir.
are doing remarkable work. I only want to tell you that
Hmm.
kindly recall your school days. We
Yes.
have a process of linking theory with practical
Yeah.
in our schools, but how far they were useful to you to understand science. You please now come up with your own experiences, and now try to make out, whenever you will become a teacher or
Huh.
whenever you will teach, try to make science more doable rather than only reading and writing questions in examination. Science is much more than this. So
Yes, sir.
somewhere you are doing good job by engaging children, encouraging children in doing in making models, in bringing them towards or encouraging them to think about their environment, coming out with their
Yeah.
own solutions of their daily life problems. So this is excellent work which you are doing. Keep on doing this. Congratulations to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure for me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now I would like to invite our another awardee, Mukta madam, to share his her experience. Mukta madam, are you here?
Uh, Yes, sir. Good
Please
evening,
unmute
sir.
yourself.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, of
Uh,
course. Go ahead.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
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 sir.
ma'am.
So
Introduce
myself,
yourself.
yes, sir. Myself,
Ah,
Mukta Khatawkar. I'm a principal of a school where I have till middle school, that is till seventh standard. So recently, I have joined as a principal, but before that, so I worked as a science and maths teacher in secondary school. So I experienced a lot and with students by researching a small things, like when I was happy to see when children get results when they do something by experience, means they learn something by making own experiments, and like we can say that experiential learning. And many a times I try to arrange small visits in to the nature, like related to biology and all. We study in the outside, like field visits and all. So like this n number of projects I'm trying with my students, and really I'm getting good results. And even students, small kids also, they really take very much interest in doing their own small projects. So I try to include I try to relate this science subject with other subjects also. So like multidisciplinary projects, I first of all I focus on those things. And yes, and even I've advised my students to take some competitive exams like this olympiads and some vidya vvm exams and all related to science. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity to speak something on my own projects. Hello.
Very good. Very good, Muktaji. You are doing wonderful work because hands-on activity in science is actually missing in our education system. Mostly people read and reproduce, and that is the way
Yes,
examination
yes,
goes. So if they can
yes,
do science, science is not something theory. It is doing hands-on job. And
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
India has been lacking in this kind of a thing so far because
Hmm.
we are very good in theory, but so far as experimental goes, we are very poor. Now we are
Yes,
realizing our education system has realized, and we are now doing hands-on activity. In fact, I'm based at Indore, and we are trying to make a science club here and
hmm.
set up a laboratory in which students will come and we will set up experiments and they will do hands-on activity on those experiments. They will also
Yes,
design experiments and they will use our equipment to do things
yeah,
which are hands-on kind of activity. So this is a wonderful thing,
yes,
and I really congratulate you for this thought. And at the middle school level, this will be fantastic. Actually, thank you so much.
yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mukta Khatavkar ji. You are doing good job,
Thank you,
and
sir.
only because you are working with children up to standard 7. So this is certainly a very good age wherein you can inculcate a lot of interest in learning science, because science is in our daily life everywhere, and children should come up with the answers to their own questions. Uh, if you remember, I don't know how many of you know, in the year 2005, the national curriculum framework was framed by under the chairpersonship of Professor Yashpal, and there was one committee formed by Parliament of India, which is named as Yashpal Committee. So Professor
Yes,
Yashpal was is a scientist, and what was very good in deciding what type of education is required, and he focused on more on learning by doing. He worked on constructivist approach. So you will find a lot of work has been done, and the Professor Yashpal used to ask one question to all the children, and that was, if you say put uh, puri in hot oil, it will pop up. But if you put puri
yes,
hot water, boiled water, it will not pop up. Why? So he wanted the children to think on this. There were many such questions which Professor Yashpal was asking. So asking such questions which are in child's daily life and engaging them in answering questions is very, very, but they should come up with their own answers. That may be right, that may be wrong. One child will say something, another child will may say something
correct.
different, and so on. Will work out their own knowledge. So whether you are doing a very good job, involve learners in doing something and learning science through doing experiments and uh, working with the material which is available in the daily life. Not hi-fi
Yes,
equipments are
correct.
required in order to
Yeah,
understand science
yeah,
around me.
yes, yes, sir. Correct. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And our last awardee, Gauri madam. I would like to invite Gauri
Namaste.
madam to introduce
Yes,
Gauri madam.
namaste. Namaste and good evening, sir. So nice to meet all of you. And it was indeed a very informative session, speaking about what are the new things that are going to be implemented by the new NEP, and it's going to be more competency-based education. So, yes, I am a teacher at Aryavidya Mandir, Bandra West in Mumbai. And I basically deal with the primary children. I'm a maths and science teacher, but I believe that scientific temper begins at a grassroots level. Uh, and this is the age where you ignite their minds by creating a scientific attitude in them. And I do it in the way like although we speak about various science topic, but creating empathy within them, and how they can deal, how they are how they can empathize with what currently is happening, and how they can come up with various solutions. That is the thing that I inculcate in my classroom. So we have something called as a design thinking process, where they are presented with real life situations, and then the children only come up with their own ideas. They create their own prototypes. They do it through STEAM education, which is very current, and it is the ongoing it is like the most trending education. And then children not only create their own prototypes, but they also test it. So this includes all the 21st century skills like creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking, which is one of the most vital. The four C's are vital for the 21st century. The same thing is also followed for even math. And children come up with, because their minds are very creative, and they come up with excellent ideas. And it is truly a pleasure to teach them. Yes, sir.
Thank you. It's a wonderful idea, integrating science with life. Science should be a part of life, and life has to be driven by scientific things. So only then the many of the ills of the society will vanish. Like many of the superstitions will vanish. And when you start thinking scientifically and logically, I think the quality of life will improve. So I think that's a wonderful thing. Dealing with primary students and inculcating in them that science is not apart from life; it is part of life. So I think if they proceed with this kind of thing in their life, they will certainly, do well in their life in whatever they pursue. Whether they are writers or poets or designers or teachers or any other profession. So their thinking will be science, and that is the attitude you are trying to inculcate. I think this is a commendable work you are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Gauri ji, and you are really working at that place wherein the children certainly will have interest in solving their own problems through logic, and keep on doing this work. Uh, have children ask questions, encourage them to ask questions and find out their own answers. There may be some questions whose answers can be obtained by themselves after a few days. Maybe some questions whose answers will be provided by their peer. Some questions whose answers will be provided by elders like you or their parents. And some questions whose answers will not be available right now. Maybe later on, I don't know. Maybe after some time, after some days, after some years, we will get. There are many such unanswered questions. Why Chandrayaan failed? We don't know even today. So, but we will get someday. Someday we'll get the answer. So let children have questions only, and then so you encourage children to ask questions and try to find out their own answers. So you are doing very commendable job. Congratulations, and keep doing this.
Sir, one more thing I would like to mention also, we are talking about the UN sustainable goals like climate action, and that is spoken, on regular basis with them, so that they know what are the global goals that they should achieve by 2030. And that is actually drilled into their minds from such a young stage.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. All the awardees will get the certificate, and you will be pleased to scientist, our advisor, our guide, Prabhakar here tuition, and also specially served. He has been interviewed for his job for by Dr. Saravai himself. So it will be a great pleasure for all of us that he has appreciated to acknowledge us and given the consent to give his signature on those certificates. But due to some administrative reason, certificates on this platform exhibit Anup Rajput sir, Head of Publication Division, NCRTS, for guiding us to serve for the students at the classroom. Thank you, sir. And also we are grateful to Prabhakar Sharma sir. But I think concluded without taking the blessings from person like Prabhakar Sharma sir. So over to you, sir. Please bless us with your words of wisdom, sir. Dr. Prabhakar Sharma.
Thank you, Anjanji, to give me this opportunity. I was a hardcore scientist, so I don't have much experience in school education. But from my own childhood education, I can tell you certain things which I think need to go into our education system. You see, India is a vast country, and teaching standards are different, languages are different. One of the things I realized is that if you want to teach science, then you need a language which is acceptable to everyone. Now many of science textbooks are not available in regional languages. Even in Hindi, they are not available. And whatever are available also, they are not up to the mark. Actually, I was from our institute, a few of us joined and reviewed the science textbooks of various schools. That time we were in Ahmedabad, so we reviewed Gujarati, books taught in Gujarati schools, and realized that they are not up to the mark. So I think standardization of books is something which needs to be done. Now, this is a very big question, and actually, I believe that real professionals, hardcore scientists, have to get involved in it. We actually tried to produce some supplementary material for science children, and so there was a project called Abhisheka Project, and we did some work, but it stopped after a while, and I think it needs to be revived. Now, the other problem is that there is a vast difference between education in the rural area and in the urban area. In the rural areas, the infrastructure is very poor. Schools are not equipped with things. Forget about laboratories, which are hardly laboratory facilities are available, and school buildings are in bad shape. Many times you see on news channels, schools buildings are dilapidated buildings. And in my own school, when there was no roof properly, and when it used to rain, we used to go home. And in summer, it was very hot. So, this infrastructure, toilet facilities are not available in these schools, particularly for females. So, these are things which need to improve actually. So, the whole infrastructure, educational infrastructure has to be geared up. Now, in the urban areas, it is different. Children have to travel long distances. For example, people living in Indore have to travel 30, 40 kilometers to go to a good school. This is something, it's a waste of time, energy, and, children spend long time in commuting to the school. They get tired, 1 hour going and 1 hour coming. So, things have to be, we initiated a project here called School at the Doorstep. Now, you see, which means that it has to be very near to where you live. So, but it, the way things are, the prices of things and so on, the schools need big compounds and big campuses. So, it can only be done in a remote area. So this is what is actually a problem. But situation in rural areas is very different. For example, I saw one news clip that people living around Delhi have to sometimes swim across Yamuna River, dirty waters of Yamuna River, to reach their school if boat is not there. And interestingly, Lal Bahadur Shastri, who was one of our eminent prime ministers, he used to sometimes swim across Ganges to reach his school. These are real life problems. I'm not and sort of exaggerating these things. So things have to improve much in rural areas. In hilly areas, in snowbound areas, children, it is very difficult to reach their school. There are no proper conveyance facilities and so on and so forth. So, there is a big problem actually of education in a country like India. Now, space technology has certainly improved some things, uh, through satellite communication, but it has not really reached a level where it can be implemented in the whole country. This is one of the problems. Now, yet another problem is the the education system here is, as many of you would have heard, is not promoting inquiry into the minds of students. It is still by and large just cram the whole thing and reproduce it in the exam. So mug up everything, and this is what is actually counterproductive. So our education system actually does not produce professionals in the sense, they produce more like clerks, teachers, and so on. But they are not able to do things on their own. So this is a big lacuna in our system, and many of the awardee teachers, I am happy to note that they are promoting this kind of a thing, so that you get a kind of a proper career after your education, not just become uh, a non-professional kind of a thing. So this is really wonderful, and but a large amount of work has to be, not only few teachers. I think in the whole country, teachers have to realize that it has to be something. The education should impart them professional skills so that they can do something meaningful in their life and also use it in their vocation. So I think this is another aspect of our education. I don't know how much time I have, but I wrote a poem. I write poetry. So one of my books has a poem on education, which I would like to read it out to you. And I would like to tell you what is the message. I read on education. The title of the poem is On Education. Education affects life at the innermost level to develop empathy for one and all, friends and adversaries alike. Education should bring maturity to act with conscience and not just by instinct or emotion like an animal, acting at the spur of the moment. An educated person would prefer to have dialogue rather than resort to confrontation in the event of a deadlock or dispute. Education should unite people and not create unfair rivalry, subjugating others by brute force. The present day education has, however, become like a machine, turning out people with mere academic degrees without inculcating ethical values that make one as a good human being. Education should be an instrument of inner change to bring out the inherent goodness and root out evil from human heart. The present day education, however, has been reduced to a state that it has lost its real purpose to make one a good human being and build bridges of friendship between people, making them compassionate rather than becoming self-centered, unable to appreciate others' viewpoint. I wrote this poem after I saw in the news media that many of the terrorists are highly educated. But they are professionals, they are engineering graduates, IT professionals who have resorted to terrorism. Now, this is very bad because if you are educated, you can't do this kind of a thing. So it only means that the education system does not teach them to be a good human being, you know, and that is what I think is missing in our education, that you just get a degree and not really become a good human being. So I think some of the awardee teachers have are dealing with this problem, and I think it is really worthy. It's a real worthy cause, So I think we should also have this moral, ethical kind of a thing in our education system. And I was happy to be. I was fortunate to be associated with both Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Dr. Kalam. And they used to always tell us that whatever you do, be a polite being, be a good human being. Treat your colleagues, treat your subordinates as your own family, not something that you order them to do things. Just so be compassionate, be kind to them, understand their problems. Then they will be able to give best output of their from their job. So I think teachers should also sort of appreciate that rather than just getting a job, students also have to become good members of the society, real good members of the society. So I think that is what is the message for today. Thank you so much for giving me this time, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Anjanji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Provocating and as well as your you had and value-based education also. So thank you for being with us, your great presence, and conferring the awards to our awardee teachers. So thank you very much. And valuable support in near future also.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And now we are moving forward. We are it's a moment. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of celebration of United Nations International Day of Education 23 January. I would like to invite our of National Teacher Scientist India, which is a affiliated body of VIPNet Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Our Honorary Director, Professor A.K. Malik from Allahabad, Prayagraj. Over to you, sir. Please share your vote of thanks.
Am I audible, sir?
Professor Malik.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A very good evening to all of you. Myself, Dr. Ajendra Kumar Malik, Professor Mathematics, School of Science, Uttar Pradesh Rajshri Tandon Open University, and also working as a honorary director, NCRTS, DASA, India. It is a great honor to me for become a part of this wonderful event under the banner of DASA India, inspired from National Counseling of Researcher Teacher Scientist India, National Counseling of Student Scientist India, all affiliated to VIP Net and autonomous organization of DASA India. Today, we all are celebrating International Day of Education, 24 January. The theme of this program is to invest in people proprietary education, which is conferring NCRTS National Teacher Award 2023 and redefining education in India. So first thanks go to our national chairman, NCRTS India, NCSS India, DASA India, Mr. Anjan Banik, whose great effort, motivation, and hard work we all are here. And I'm also thankful to our honorable keynote speaker, Professor Anup Rajput, Head Publication Division, DE, NCRT, Government of India, and honorable guest of conferring award ceremony, Dr. Prabhakar Sharma, Senior Scientist, ex-served at ISRO, PRL, Department of Space, Government of India, for giving wonderful and motivational speech for motivation in doing science, engineering, mathematics, etc. And I'm also thankful to all participants who are actively participate in these events. And I also thankful and congratulations to all awardee, Professor Dr. Sonia Kandle, uh, Miss Jaya Chaudhary, Miss Silpa Parab, and Miss Murnal and Miss Mukta and Miss Gori Sirur, which is get the award, and we all are celebrating today as National Girls Child Day. So we all are thankful to all the participants, National Chairman, Honorable Speaker, and award ceremony, Honorable, and all the participants who have participated in this event. Okay, thank you very much for joining this event. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you being with us. Thanks for your vote. This is our Honorable National Director, Professor A.K. Malik from Prayagraj. Thank you, sir. And with this great thoughts on education, I think we have to. I hope it will be a great learning for all of us, being who are teaching classroom and who are most dedicated and devoted to the man making process of education. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.